to the second episode of the Dialogue. I'm Micah.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Gage.
Wow.
Nice to meet you.
How candid and natural.
That was great.
Yeah, definitely.
We're really good at starting podcasts, especially
We are.
loud cats and dogs in the background.
Yeah, no shit. Now, we are an internet sensation from our 60 viewers that we
Definitely.
got during
To those 60 viewers.
More like 8 because
60 viewers.
I think all of them were us, honestly.
You think we all... Well, and Jesse. Jesse was at least one.
And Jesse.
Shout out to Jesse. We know we got one fan.
I don't know. It feels like we're pretty successful.
I feel famous.
I'm already thinking about retiring.
I know.
I'm letting the power go to my head already.
I see people noticing me on the streets. I just walk down the street and I see people just looking constantly. Now, I don't know if it was because I was in my underwear or what, but people were just...
Yeah.
I think it was because I was famous.
I've already blown all my money on hookers and cocaine. It's gone, all of it.
It's all gone.
I have to live in your garage. The
Wow.
garage you don't have.
My apartment garage. Shit.
No, it's a euphemism for, Welcome to the Dialogue, everybody.
I did want to talk about one thing, and I'm losing words. In particular, that's the word.
Yeah.
One thing in particular, I saw that today in the news that Jason Momoa is going to play the main guy in Just Cause. And,
Sorry.
it's all good, man. What do you guys think about video games?
Well, first of all, besides the fact that we're acting like we didn't start recording and talking about
We can
this.
be honest. We tried to record
Yeah,
this.
we tried to record this in the first 5 minutes, and I genuinely liked what we talked about, and then the cat had to come in here and be a cat and was like...
Playing with a...
Hopefully we're gonna
So we're just going to try and hit the same points we talked about.
We'll get him put down before the next episode, so it'll
Yeah.
be cool.
Well, we might change locations for next episode.
We'll see, yeah.
Possibly. But anyway, I just saw that, like, Jason Momoa is, like, gonna be the new guy in Just Cause, and Tom Holland's supposed to be the guy in Uncharted. And I just wanted to hear your thoughts on what you guys actually think about video game movies and whether they should actually be made nowadays, since so many video games actually already look very cinematic.
Well, like I totally haven't said 10 minutes ago, I believe that it is definitely... I definitely believe it is possible to make a good video game adaptation. We just haven't had it yet. And I also think a big part of that is...
Sonic the Hedgehog, idiot.
Alright, anyway. I mean, like, a truly, like, you know, like, one that people go like, oh, maybe the Oscar contender, you know,
that
kind
would
of
be
thing.
cool.
I honestly think... I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but they tend to give these video game movies to just, like, these, like... I mean, not to, like, shit on any director in particular, but they're very, like, who is that?
Obscure.
Yeah, like, who directed... Could you tell me who directed the Assassin's Creed movie?
I actually can.
Dang.
You can?
Justin Kurziel?
What else did he direct?
He did the new Macbeth.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
what did that get well received at all?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Well, fuck me. I guess I don't know anything.
But
so...
I mean, I definitely get what you mean. The only reason why I know that is because I think that director has a very interesting visual style, but...
Okay.
But other than that, I couldn't tell you who directed Warcraft.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you who directed fucking...
Tomb Raider.
Sonic.
It's like the studios don't believe in it, so they just give it to some...
Not
Yeah.
like it has
Some
to be a big
dude.
director or anything, but...
You really whistle your S's there, buddy.
Oh.
Have you met me?
I've never noticed that before.
I always whistle my S's.
That was like a huge...
Yeah, no, it's bad.
I didn't realize that.
It's
Dang.
really bad. And I'm very insecure about it.
No, you're fine.
Okay, what is the best video game movie ever made?
And I have a follow-up question after that.
Hot take. I actually kind of enjoy, in like a really weird, sick way, watching the Mario Brothers movie.
I've never seen it.
It's like was so schlocky and stupid that it's like fun.
If Jim Carrey was not in Sonic the Hedgehog, I probably wouldn't like it, but I'm just such a huge... And I thought he was so great in that. I actually genuinely... I own Sonic the Hedgehog, so that's probably my favorite.
You bought it?
I own it, yeah.
Wow.
It comes with a little comic book.
I don't know, like, what video game movies I've
There's
seen.
like Mortal Kombat, Tomb Raider, Assassin's
Have
Creed,
you seen the original like Tomb Raider movies with
Angelina Jolie. I actually like... That might be it. I actually like the first one.
A lot of people like those.
I feel
Yeah.
like there was one that I watched recently, like a video game movie, and I was like, that was pretty good, but I don't know.
Hasn't there been like a Call of Duty and or Halo movie? Like in
Yeah, in the
production
works forever.
hell or development hell
Yeah,
for
originally
forever.
there was gonna be, they like announced like years ago. This was like before even Halo 5 came out.
Yeah.
It was gonna be a Showtime series, a Halo Showtime series, and freaking Steven Spielberg of
my
all people was
gosh.
gonna executive produce it, and then it just kept getting delayed and passed around to
Canceled,
different
yeah.
people, and now it's like maybe it's a movie, maybe it's a show. Who knows? It's probably going to be one of those things that's like in development hell for like decades, and then it'll eventually come out when nobody gives a shit about
Yeah.
Halo anymore.
I'm trying to look up video game movies, but my
Okay.
phone's sucking.
Shoot. Here.
Oh god.
Follow-up question. Are there any games out right now that you wish would be made into a movie, if like there are any like that?
Honestly, I can't really think of any.
I mean,
No.
people have been talking about making a Legend of Zelda movie for years.
Oh. I don't know. You know what?
Could be interesting.
Great time for my internet not to fuck.
Oh,
me
here.
up.
Okay, here's a list. Let's see, is there a Resident Evil movie?
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
a
It
lot of
says there
them.
is. Oh, yeah, there is. Resident Evil, Warcraft,
Some
Mortal
of those are
Kombat,
entertaining, but
Mortal Kombat, Detective Pikachu, Super Mario Brothers.
I want to see Pikachu.
It's okay.
That does look pretty
The
good.
cinematography of that fucking movie
Doom,
looks amazing.
A
Silent
lot of people
Hill,
like the Mortal Kombat movie.
Rampage, Resident Evil, Street Fighter and Need for Speed, Assassin's Creed.
Need for Speed is like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
I guess like I saw it Need for Speed, and I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, it's a car movie.
Yeah.
Like you could have slapped any name on it, and it would have
Yeah.
worked. Like
Yeah, I honestly can't think of any other video game movies.
I don't think I would. Honestly, no. I don't know. But I'm like a really big fan of Just Cause, and like I just think it's really weird that they attached Jason Momoa to that. I don't know, because Jason Momoa is like really, really big, and I feel like the character in that is not like super duper
He's
big.
popular, that's why.
And that's why they're choosing Tom Holland for Nathan Drake too,
Yeah,
because he's popular.
Because they just take DC and Marvel actors and they're just like, people like these.
And what's funny is that every Uncharted fan of the video game series that I've talked to has said that they don't like the casting choice of Tom Holland.
Yeah, but again, like,
for Nathan Drake.
I totally didn't say this 10 minutes ago, but, like, it's whether do you want to just fucking make the game
right.
that's already cinematic into a
Yeah.
movie, or do you do something different, like a prequel, I guess? I don't know.
Because
you know?
there's, like you said, there are so many movies, or so many video games that are already cinematic, like, I think, like, The Last of Us, and also Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's the PS4 one's pretty cinematic. I really like that.
Well, again, I can't imagine they would make a.
Well, obviously, yeah. But what were you saying? And the totally not first podcast thingy we did first about walking out of a movie?
Oh, so I only saw 75% of, or maybe like 50% of the Assassin's Creed movie.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And then
I think wasn't the only reason you saw that was because Michael Fassbender.
Oh, he's in that?
I thought it looked...
Yeah, he plays the main guy.
What?
I actually thought it looked pretty good. And then, yeah, we went in, and I was like, it's definitely weird. It's not...
I never saw it, but I just remember
The pacing of that fucking movie is bizarre.
I
and then-
considered seeing it, and I just heard, like, atrocious things about it, and I was like, eh.
all I remember is from the trailer, just the Kanye song.
Yeah,
Oh,
I am a
jeez.
god.
I am a god, even though I'm a man
Yeah.
of God.
Like, it's-
Kanye 2020.
That movie, like, out of all of, like, the video games I can think of would probably, like that should be the best.
Yeah.
You know, but it was just... I mean, I still haven't finished it, so I can't really say, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know how you would make a Last of Us show or movie.
It's already
or,
so...
Yeah, that I kind of agree with you.
It's so cinematic. I don't think there's much more you could do, especially with the
You would
motion
have to do
capture.
something like different with it, but you know people are gonna be
Yeah.
pissy and bitch about it.
They should make, like, a Last of Us movie, and then make the Last of Us 2 movie, but, like, it should be totally different from the game. Wouldn't that
Oh,
be
yeah.
interesting? If they were like, okay, we're gonna tell the same story, but, like, go in a different direction with it? That'd be fucking very interesting if they did
Yeah.
that.
I'm sure there'd be a lot of people that would agree with you on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it'd be kind of a bold move.
Don't stop talking. I'm gonna get more water.
Okay. So,
Walking out of
frame.
they should make Madden 19 into a movie.
I'm there. I'm there for it.
But yeah, other than that, I can't really think of, like, I mean,
sound like I'm pissing?
probably. Like, Call of Duty turned into a game would just be, like,
Yeah.
it'd just be a war movie.
I want, like, Star Wars Battlefront, like an actual militarized, like, war Star
it's
Wars
hard,
movie.
you know?
Wouldn't that just be the Clone Wars series?
No, I don't know. It's like it feels like it's like Saving Private Ryan at the beginning, but with Star
They
Wars.
tried to do that with Rogue One.
Okay, what about movies into games? Because I feel like
Movies
there's
into
probably a
games?
better track
Remember they
record.
used to do that a lot. Remember especially with like DreamWorks and Pixar
Yeah.
movies that like The Incredibles PS2 video
I
game.
mean, it definitely seems like basing a game off of a pre-existing
Mhm.
property works out better than the reverse.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, when you're taking, you know, your brother would always say this about how like games are like better because
Yeah.
there's that added layer of being able to like play,
Mhm.
which I don't know if I necessarily agree with, but it does seem like in a way when you take a video game, translate it to a movie, it's just the video game but without the gameplay.
The interaction.
Right?
Right.
So, but if you take a movie, turn it into a game,
I just thought of this.
you know, like
A Mission Impossible like open
yeah.
world game. Oh my gosh.
how would that work?
Are you kidding me? How would that not work? It's just digitized Tom Cruise jumping over
Oh.
buildings and stuff.
I mean,
It's
he's not
open
I
world.
mean, he's not a superhero. It's not like
That's still doing like
I mean-
hanging on to planes and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically just cause, but
One movie into a video game.
I would do a Mission Impossible.
well, like I was also saying in the podcast
Yeah.
we weren't recording before, totally not at all.
Mhm.
That like I think a lot is forgiven in games story wise, and a lot of people don't realize that
Totally. Whoa.
like
Totally.
Back up?
You guys need any backup?
yeah,
You know what was really good?
I totally get what you mean, though.
yeah.
The Harry Potter video games. I ate those up as a kid.
Yeah,
Those were great.
I played
I
those.
feel like there's lots of like games based on obviously comic books and like TV shows, like SpongeBob TV show.
If they
or,
did-
like SpongeBob video game, I mean,
Yeah, if they did a Maze Runner video game,
I could actually see that being.
I feel like there
working.
was one.
and a Hunger Games video game. I don't know why there already isn't one. Where it's like online and like
I
everybody's
wouldn't be
just.
surprised if it exists somewhere.
I mean, if you play
There's a
Min-
Minecraft version.
if you play Minecraft, they do that shit all
I
the
want
time.
like I don't know. I want to like create.
Oh
your
yeah,
own-
there's a Minecraft movie happening
Oh my
with
gosh.
Steve Carell in it apparently.
Why?
Oh yeah, they announced that like
Yeah.
long.
Well,
time
yeah, I
ago.
read about that like a few months ago, and I think Caleb was like, "Oh yeah, that's been a thing for a long ass time."
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, what
Edge
the
of
hell?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Edge of Tomorrow was a video game.
No, like making it into a movie.
Oh,
I'm
maybe
looking
a
at my
video
shelf.
game. Is that
Or
what
yeah,
you-
into a video game. I don't know. I honestly don't know. You know, but it's one of those things where if it works for a certain medium, just you know,
Yeah.
let it be.
I wish they would do that more as make video games off of movies. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be they want to do I don't know. There's a lot actually that are in development, but they stay in development for like
For a
forever.
long time.
Like I know before 20th Century Fox got bought out by Disney, they were gonna make they announced like a Mega Man movie,
Oh shoot.
which I don't even know how you do that. I guess it's basically just like RoboCop.
Bum, 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 bum.
I mean, I really like the Mega Man games, but like, unless it's like animation, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know
Do
how.
you know
you
what's
adapt that.
really interesting? Is they actually have, you can go on YouTube right now and look it up, a Sly Cooper trailer for the movie.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
But after Ratchet and Clank kind of flopped, they just like canceled it.
I forgot about that.
But
yeah.
but you can watch the Sly Cooper trailer, which is never going to come out. Same as the
forgot about that.
Popeye trailer, which was replaced with the Emoji Movie.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a Popeye movie.
I mean, that's not a video game, but we can.
Well, now I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
There's so many canceled
And
things.
the guy Tom Kenny, the guy who voices SpongeBob, was gonna voice.
And it
Popeye.
worked. And they have on YouTube. They
Sounds
have
just like him.
They have a test demo, and it looks fantastic.
I think everyone was upset because he doesn't have his pipe because it was.
Oh, I didn't care that
Shit,
much.
like a World War Z video game would be kind of good. Even though like Days Gone, I feel like is already.
Again,
coming.
I think you should look that up. That might exist.
World War Z.
I
Yeah.
don't think it does.
I mean, there's games like it. Zombie, I can't play zombie games though. They freak me out too much.
really?
Yeah, like it's just too stressful.
Do they have a Jurassic Park video game?
There's like arcade
must.
games I know of,
Oh.
but I mean that would be really cool.
Oh yeah, there's that like famous one where you like sit in the car and you're like shooting.
Yeah.
Yep, that one's pretty cool.
John Wick video game.
But yeah, there's a lot of like canceled stuff that would have been really curious to see how it changed like cinematic culture had it not been canceled, like that Popeye thing. Obviously, people love to trash on the Emoji Movie, so you know Sony Animation probably wouldn't have that shit stain
Fuck.
on them. And then
Are you,
also the rated R James Cameron Spider-Man, which never happened. Like that would have been crazy.
Well, sorry to keep the conversation about video games, but I bet you in like the next 5 years, for like the PS5, there's gonna be an open world, either one Star Wars game or Lord of the Rings game, like completely.
There's
open
rumors of an open world Harry Potter game, and I'm so down.
To be honest, out of those three though, I feel like that would be the least interesting because I feel like I don't know what you would do.
And what?
Harry Potter.
You walk around the castle.
I guess, but like,
I mean, go to Hogsmeade.
I mean, I like Harry Potter more than both of those
Yeah.
franchises, but I just feel like, honestly, I could see myself liking the world, like Lord of the Rings game and
They
Star
have an
Wars
open.
game.
They already have an open world Lord of the Rings game.
Oh.
I think it's called Lord of the Rings, like Shadow of Mordor or something. It's for the Xbox One and it's probably for the PS4. But and it's got like really good reviews. You can.
There should be a Star Wars open world where you
Yeah.
can literally just like go to different planets and shit. That'd be crazy.
Pretty damn cool.
Can you imagine like eventually?
I mean, I think
maps
there's like
are gonna be so big that there's gonna be like multiple planets. That you
I
can...
think there's like
Yeah.
online like MMO games that are kind of like that, but I mean they were made in like
Mhm.
1990 whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they look like 2 pixels on screen.
I have the perfect segue if we want to talk about funny games at all.
What?
We should play Hatred.
Hatred.
The game, remember?
Oh my gosh. Hatred. Who wants to talk about that? I don't know.
I don't even want to.
I know. Hatred was basically just a game where this guy is just like, civilian scum. I hate
So
the
fucking stupid.
I hate the world. And then he just exits out of his house with like guns and just
We watched the trailer.
shoots
the other
up
day.
the world. You go to a police station and you just shoot up people on the street. That's the whole plot of the game.
Nathan showed it to us.
Yeah. Hatred. And it's like more violent and more, what's the word, controversial than Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty. I don't know if Call of Duty's
Do you guys want to
controversial,
talk about funny games a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
For like 5 or 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
I know, we
You-
watched...
we just talked about it so much after we watched
Well,
the
he
movie.
said I mean,
Oh.
it's one of those movies you sit... Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, what were you gonna say?
Nothing.
I'm gonna keep getting higher on your thigh until you...
I don't know, I just feel like even though we did talk about it, it's kind of, you gotta let it sit. Like, I've seen the movie twice, and I'm still like...
Yeah.
It's hard to, put into
The
words.
intentions of that movie are to subvert your expectations. And that's exactly what it does.
I mean, I had like no back because I didn't know what we were watching. You just threw it
Yeah.
on, and I was like, "What is this?" And you were just like, "Let's just watch it." And you said it was the. Well, first of all, you opened the Criterion channel, so now I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
get into this."
And you
then,
thought we were watching Game Night
yeah,
with,
for whatever you said, funny games
with Jason Bateman.
and I thought we were watching a Jason Bateman
Alright, guys,
comedy.
we're gonna be watching Funny Games starring Jason Bateman.
Somehow I got it in my head that we were watching Game Night.
That's so funny.
Mistake
Yeah,
the
it's
movies.
definitely not.
And then you said it was, it's from the same director as The Piano Teacher. Now, I've heard of The Piano Teacher, so I knew enough to be like, oh shit, I better strap in. This is gonna get really
for anybody listening
disturbing.
who doesn't know, like, what Funny Games is, how the fuck to explain it. I think the director, Michael Haneke, who's, like, very, very, very well-renowned and respected, and that's the only movie I've seen from him. And it's basically, to just, like, oversimplify it, it's just about, like, a home invasion type thing.
Mm-hmm.
2 guys kind of torture, like, a family, and...
Yeah.
It's a foreign film.
Yeah, it's a foreign film.
Which was made shot for shot into an American
Okay,
film.
I read about that today.
Okay.
I read why he made the
Was it the same director?
same director.
What?
He
I didn't know
remade his
that.
own movie shot for shot in English, and it's because specifically he wanted to make it for American audiences. And then he got the chance to remake it. So he wanted to do that originally and wasn't able to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
That
like the
changes.
remake is probably the one that he was really wanting to make all
Yeah.
along, even though they're the same movie.
I find it interesting
And you
that
know
it's
why?
only 10 years apart.
It's because the movie is essentially a commentary on like violence in media,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't say it's like super in your face. It can be,
Yeah.
but like that's not the only thing you can take away from it. Anyway, but he was wanting to direct it specifically to American audiences because
Yeah.
it's something he's passionate about. Which I was reading about it today, and it's like, I don't really like agree with that mentality about like, violence in movies and stuff and video games having like a big effect
Yeah.
on like
Right.
what people actually do in real life. But I do think that the movie is important. Like
It's asking you to at least think about it.
it's something you at least need to
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah.
Because Yeah, I mean, I do think there's an argument to be made that we're desensitized and stuff, and I
Absolutely.
think it's like if you don't at least think about it,
Mhm.
I like the challenge. I like what the movie's trying to like make me think about, and it and when your belief system is challenged, it only makes your belief stronger if you're like, oh yeah, that's a really good point, but actually I don't agree, and here's why.
And it's super. It actually has made me think about it a lot more recently because I've been playing more video games and stuff. And like, I'm gonna just like be honest. I've never touched a gun, and like I don't really have a desire to ever touch a gun. I mean,
Yeah,
that's like
I mean-
people have their whatever, but I don't want to do that at all. And yet when me, Gage, and Kyle were playing video games today, I was the one shooting up horses. We were playing Red Dead Redemption.
I'm the one who's
He
like
was
been
like-
around guns and like
he's the
and
biggest
I'm just
advocate.
Like, whoa, Micah, don't
Yeah,
be
Gage is the
people.
biggest
Don't kill the
advocate.
virtual horse that
Yeah,
doesn't
hey,
exist.
what are you doing to the horse?
Yeah,
And I'm
he got so upset that I killed his horse. I ran straight head on into a train with my horse, and like I was shooting
It's very
civilians just
interesting,
because.
yeah.
Which
Comparison.
is interesting because I would never touch a gun, and Gage was getting like super defensive of his horse when.
I grew up around weapons, you guys.
So I honestly don't think that what you do in video games has a big effect on like my personal opinion, because it was making me think about it after watching Funny Games. What you do in video games, what you choose to do, doesn't have an effect on what you do in the real world, unless you think I'm a violent guy.
No. I don't think any of us are like
No.
naturally like I've never been in a fight. I don't really have like
Can I ask you how
Violent
you feel
tendencies.
about guns?
Guns?
If you're okay with that.
I mean, like not to get too political.
It's fine, yeah.
But I mean,
We'll
if,
get
we're,
into
ta- if, we're
movies.
if we're talking about like the right to have guns or
Yeah.
stuff like that, I mean, personally, this is just like I don't see myself ever owning a gun.
Yeah, me too.
In my lifetime, but that's not to say that I don't think other people shouldn't own guns.
Mm-hmm.
I do like to think that it is sort of what I think we can at least agree that the right to bear arms in this country is at least what makes us unique.
Yeah.
Decide with that information what you will, but
Totally
that's
agree
just
with you
kind of
there.
like where I'm at with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I like have like a definitive passionate
Yeah.
opinion on.
Like if
But-
people want to own guns, I'm okay with that, and like I think everyone has the right to do that in order to
Right.
defend themselves or whatever. It's just me personally, I don't want to. I don't know. I just find it interesting that I'm just like, oh, I never want to shoot a gun, but then I'm in a game just like, ha ha ha. Poof, poof, poof.
I want to get back to this conversation, but I just think it'd be funny if we, now if you don't want this in there,
Funny games.
we
Okay.
can cut this out.
No, it's fine.
But
I'm not
you
cutting
said the
anything.
thing earlier where you're like, I've
I
been
grew
around
up-
weapons. Do you want to explain what that inside
Yeah,
joke
because that's like an
is?
inside
Oh, yeah.
joke.
I don't remember.
It was Halloween night, and you had the
I
axe.
had a machete or an axe.
because you were dressed
I was,
up as.
I was Jason Bateman. Jason
You
Bateman.
were Jason.
You know, I was Jason Bateman from the movie Game Night, you guys. No. Yeah, no, I was Patrick Bateman, and I had an axe.
From American Psycho.
You had an actual axe.
Yeah,
an axe.
real
And I
axe.
think like I got close to one of you guys with it.
You were swinging it a little
And-
bit.
Yeah, you were.
You
And
were
you guys
swinging
were
it.
like, whoa there, buddy, old pal. And then I got really defensive because
Yeah.
like, and annoyed because I felt like you guys were like thinking I was gonna like kill you with it, and I was just like, you guys didn't grow up around weapons. I've grown up around
As you're
weapons.
swinging an axe
I'm
near our
fine,
heads.
you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, so me and Kyle were like, "Whoa, buddy, be careful!" And so, and
Yeah,
then,
I got really,
yeah,
like-
Gage was.
And I think the next day you were like, that was
the
stupid.
I still stand by that. Was like
I
the
mean,
stupidest thing
I
ever
think
said.
it was a little of both. Me and Kyle were both a little too defensive. Like, "Whoa, buddy, you
I
need
think
to chill."
it was just like we
I
were
mean-
all exaggerated and
Yeah.
just like going. Anyway,
Anyway, I just think it's a funny
It is
story.
It is a funny
it
story.
is really funny.
Jason Bateman.
So now we have this inside joke where it's like you'd have like a machete pointed at someone's throat, just be like, "You just haven't grown
I'm
around
just like
weapons.
pointing.
You haven't grown up.
You guys
around
haven't
weapons.
grown around weapons. What are you?"
Grown around weapons.
Well,
I'm growing.
I think I told you. I think that, like to a fault, I'm like so comfortable around
Yeah.
weapons that like my dad's the same way. Where we're like so overly comfortable that we almost become like
Dangerous.
yeah to ourselves because like. Yeah, I was holding when the first day we moved in here. I had a knife and I was
Yeah.
just like I was just like cutting something and Sid was like, "Just be careful." I'm like, "I'm fine. I grew up around knives. I'm fine." And I like almost cut my finger off.
I remember
I have
the
a scar like right here.
The first day that the first time I was ever invited over to your house, you knew exactly how I felt about guns. And you come out, I'm sitting on the couch, and you come out in the hallway with, I don't even remember what gun, but you had a big gun.
I think it was a shotgun.
You had a shotgun.
I was like, hey, what's up?
And you were like, hey, buddy, what's up? And I was like, Gage, no!
Wait, hold on. I zoned out. You had a shotgun?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I ever visited here, he came out of the hallway with a
I wasn't
shotgun.
pointing it at
No,
him.
Why in the hell did you have a shotgun?
I just want to say, he was not
have a
pointing it at me.
shotgun.
Why do
He
you
was,
have a shotgun?
He was
I have
just
two
messing around.
shotguns.
Why do you have 2 shotguns?
I have 2 shotguns and a pistol.
Do not mess with Gage. Do not come over to his house.
I mean,
If you want to.
What do you use those shotguns for?
if somebody breaks in, I shoot them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And if the world ends, I have so much ammo.
One for you, one for Sid.
Yeah.
And then the pistol for me.
We're getting... And
For May.
So I have... Yeah, and we're gonna get another pistol, and I have a rifle that's at my dad's
Can
house.
I have one if the world ends?
I gotta, like...
Yeah.
Can I have a pistol if the world ends?
Maybe.
Thanks, I
Maybe.
appreciate it.
I don't know, it's just like, I feel a little safer, you know?
Comment your political agendas in the comments below.
Oh, we also, I wanted
I mean, I don't think there's any problem with, like, defending yourself.
I agree.
I agree with kind of what you said, like that. I think that is, like, one of the best aspects of our country, easily.
Yeah.
If you guys, I wanted to say this, if anybody watching has any questions, because we'll definitely answer pretty much all questions that
Yes,
are asked in the
yeah.
comments, please ask away in
I
the comments.
want to eventually, like, have a whole, like,
Segment.
segment at the end where we just, like, answer Q&A.
questions. Yeah, that'd be great. So if you want to leave a
Yeah.
question, we'd be happy to answer.
Anyway, funny games. We'll get
Funny
back to
games.
that. Just kind of, like, bring it full circle and then we can move on.
Sorry, I'm like so sweaty.
It's
that
okay.
my-
Are
So
we
anyway,
okay?
yeah,
Are we
yeah.
doing good?
I'm pretty hot, personally.
You're
but-
sandwiched in between
We need
us.
to, like, open this up a little bit more.
But yeah.
You
So
know
anyway,
how I get though.
Yeah.
I get really hot in your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
funny games made me think about violence and what I was doing in Red Dead
Yeah.
Redemption, shooting up
See,
civilians.
it inspires, like, a conversation.
Right.
It inspires, like...
It's also really effective.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Like that movie like stuck with me.
It's not just what it has to say, it's how it does
I like
it.
what it said. It just wasn't personally for me because the pacing intentionally got slow the second half, and I have the attention span of a gnat. So. Wait! Where's all the Edgar Wright? Where are the cuts?
I thought I was the Edgar Wright boy.
Where are the cuts?
Where are the cuts? Yeah, because I can't take a
Where
single
are the
scene.
whip pans and the crash zooms
Pretty much.
and the zippity
If
bop and the
something
shoo?
has a scene that lasts more than like 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, move on. There hasn't been a cut. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, like, what thematically, I guess, is
Yeah,
the way...
but I did like what I had
Yeah.
to say, and we had a big, lengthy conversation.
It's interesting, because I was, like, reading
Big
about... I
lengthy
was reading
talk.
quotes from the director today about, like, what he was trying to do with the movie, and I was like, oh, I don't, like, agree with that. I'm not, like, I don't really connect
It's like
with
a
that.
Jojo Rabbit
But-
thing again.
No, it's not like Jojo Rabbit, because I do think that, like, what he's saying is what he's saying outside of the movie is what he's saying with the movie. It's not, like, inconsistent, whereas, like, Taika with Jojo Rabbit, I feel like what he's saying in press and, like, interviews and stuff is completely different from what the movie's saying.
Yeah.
But, like, it's weird because, you know, you read the director's quote, about, like, what he was intending for Funny Games, and I'm like, yeah, like, I can see that's what you were trying to do, I just don't, like, agree with what you're saying, but, like, the movie is so effective, like, I think you said, it's just so effective in what it's trying to say, that even if you disagree with it, you can't, at least you're impressed.
Yeah.
I just feel very impressed. It's, like, the best argument I think you can... it's not even really an argument, it's just kind of, like, posing... Like, I think that I've read quotes from the director. He said filmmaking's all about posing questions, not answers, which I understand. Awesome.
I still can't tell what that's supposed to be.
It's a tiara.
I totally get what...
Oh.
Sorry, I
okay.
totally threw
It's
off your...
okay.
Continue.
I was just going to say, like, with Funny Games, he definitely... And I've read people commenting, like, negative... Like, this is a negative of the movie, that it poses lots of questions and doesn't dare... pose answers or solutions.
I think that's
A lot of
great, because
people-
it leaves it up for
I mean,
interpretation
yeah, that's exactly
to the
what the
person.
director says. Is like he said, like, like, if you try to provide answers for the audience, then you're lying. And I
Yeah.
do appreciate that. I don't necessarily agree all the time. Like, I don't think that applies to everything. I do think it can be lazy to only ask questions and, like, try not to, and like run away from trying to have solutions at all. Does that make
Right.
sense? I'm
Yeah.
really not articulating myself well
It's
here.
all good.
But I still respect the movie for doing that, letting you kind of think, and
Think for yourself. Instead of spoon feeding.
And the questions that it's posing are interesting enough that I don't necessarily, need anything else. And I do think if at the very end he was like, "This is the answer, this is the solution," it would have ruined the fucking movie.
Absolutely.
It just kind of depends on the case for case basis, kind of case by case basis. So, I don't know. I just really, I just find what it's saying interesting.
Yeah.
And
I think you can like a movie and not necessarily agree with the mission statement of the movie.
that's a whole and I want to have a whole conversation.
See,
about
I had
that
the
sometime.
opposite experience where I didn't like the movie, but I do kind of agree with the message.
Okay.
I mean,
I want to talk about that at some
I mean,
point.
films are meant to be interpreted.
Because that was the whole, I heard that on the Sardonicast recently, and they were talking about Shapiro and, his, I think it was his Rise of Skywalker, review. Or, no, it was,
Doesn't he have very, opinionated...
it was Parasite. He was talking about
okay.
Parasite. Yeah, I mean...
About, Star Wars specifically.
Yeah, Shapiro's, you take any, very political person and you, involve them in art, and they're always very, because they're already, very blunt and shit. So, and when you're talking about art forms, you have to kind of be, very... this is how I feel, and I think people involved in politics aren't, super used to that. They're always this is how it is, this is factual, and statistics back this up. You can't really do that with art, so it's just kind of... Sometimes it's a weird mix, but I actually find that interesting. And I mean, his whole thing was he liked Parasite, he didn't agree with its politics or whatever, and they were talking about how, they don't think politics should play a role in it at all, which I don't necessarily agree with, because I think
What were the politics of it, though?
Parasite's kind of about, a poor and rich thing, and I'm too stupid to understand it, but Shapiro's all, he knows about that shit, so...
I just saw, maybe I'm stupid, I just saw it as a movie about a poor family trying to invade a rich family's house.
I think
I just saw it as nothing because I haven't seen it yet.
I think he said there's some,
That's right, I haven't seen Parasite, by the way.
Yeah,
everyone.
there's some,
Get the fuck out of here.
I believe I've read that there are some, you could interpret some of the stuff as, socialist ideas and stuff, because it is, poor versus rich, and,
It's a whole other
spreading,
conversation.
Anyway, I want to, save this for another time.
Yeah.
Funny Games is a good movie.
Thunder Road.
What? Before we get into Thunder Road, that Micah very fluently transitioned to. It's okay, buddy.
I didn't know how to.
That's fair, me neither.
No, I don't think we know how to transition.
But yeah, go check out Funny Games on the Criterion channel.
Yeah.
If you have that, or I don't know if it's on anything else.
I don't think so. But the Criterion channel is definitely worth it, so.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Funny Games is on, Amazon.
Caleb needs to give me that password.
No?
For,
Oh, yeah.
I want the
Yeah, Funny
Criterion
Games
channel.
is a great movie. I
Debatable.
really like the meta shit.
Yeah.
It's definitely my kind of
Okay,
movie.
I want to know if you've seen this movie. In the comments, what do you think of, the twist at the end? Because there's kind of a little bit of a twist at the end. You'll know what it is when you see it. I want to know if anybody's seen it. Tell me what you think about it.
Yeah.
Funny Games?
Yeah.
The twist at the end? Are you referring to the,
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Boop, boop,
I mean, kind of what I said when we watched it, I think originally I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What? But then after, hearing what the director's intention was behind it, just kind of, letting it play out after that, I think I definitely appreciate it more.
Okay.
It's definitely a very bold move.
Yeah, that's for fucking sure.
Kind of comes out of nowhere, and you're like, what are we doing?
That's the whole,
For
movie.
a second, I thought we were gonna... okay. Spoilers if you haven't seen Funny Games. Should we just say it, just so we can have, a full...
Yeah, we're going to put are we going to put a spot where you can skip to if you don't want to hear this? In the...
No.
No? Alright,
Okay.
sucks
Well,
to suck.
I mean, I'll put it there'd be a timestamp for Thunder Road, so you can skip ahead if you
To Thunder Road.
Skip
Okay.
where we talk about Thunder Road.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, it'll be in the comments.
In the
You'll find it. You're smart.
You'll figure it out.
Just pause it and go scroll down.
Okay, anyway, so at the end of Funny Games, I'll explain what happens, what you're talking about.
Do you want me to explain or you explain?
I don't care.
So at the end of Funny Games, basically the family has all been killed except for the wife, and the wife is all tied up and is somehow able to grab a gun from on the table that the bad guys had and shoots one of the bad guys in the stomach and is just blown away. And of course everyone was like, yeah, finally.
It got a big reaction around it.
Yeah, finally,
I appreciated how they didn't do the whole thing where she's like, and then they cut to it before.
Just happened.
Yeah, you don't see it happening.
Yeah.
She just lunges off screen and picks it up.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was yeah, screw the bad guys. And then suddenly the other bad guy is the intruder is where's the remote? Where's that remote? I need to find the remote. And I'm just what is he gonna do with this remote? Shove it up her ass? What's going on? And so
Now that would have been a very different
he
movie.
grabs the remote and he's pressing things, and then he presses rewind, and then the movie
I think there
itself.
was more to that, or there was less to that than you thought.
Okay.
He presses rewind, and then the movie itself that we are watching
I'm listening.
rewinds and goes back to before she shot the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was able to relive that moment and stop her from getting the gun and shooting the other bad guy. Which is it was super strange.
I love it. I really like that.
I was like, what the? That's because obviously I'm used to that ending of yeah.
The movie is
win.
just so relentless and
It
kind
is.
of trashy, and I really like
It
it.
is
It's like The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
If you feel like you need therapy after it.
Yeah, it's that song that keeps playing is kind of how the movie itself feels.
Oh yeah, it's all calm, and then
Wonky
just that
and
title
just
comes out of
fucking
nowhere.
nuts.
The entire movie is just a juxtaposition. It's just all just off kilter.
It's just so angry, and I really like it. Normally, I'm not into movies like that.
Yeah.
I don't like to feel like I'm being yelled at by the people making the movie. And I don't necessarily feel like I am watching Funny Games, but it's definitely it's a challenge. Definitely feels like the person behind the scenes is very passionate about the issue.
Definitely.
So very interesting.
Go watch Funny Games.
Yeah, it's a mixture of my fucking type of movie and also a movie you would think that I would hate. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Funny Games.
Speaking of movies that are funny but also not so funny, Thunder Road.
Yeah.
That was where the timestamp is gonna be, right? When he goes, Thunder Road.
Thunder Road.
Timestamp.
I like how Thunder Road and Funny Games could not be
I
more
know.
different, and somehow we ended up talking about two vastly
Yeah.
different movies. But it's cool.
I was having a confusing conversation with someone about this one time because we had a whole conversation. We were like, why did you feel this way about the movie? I don't understand why you were feeling this way about the movie. Then I realized at the end I was saying Tropic Thunder the entire time we were talking about it instead of Thunder Road. And I thought I was saying Thunder Road. And so I was like, yeah, Tropic Thunder was just so sad. And I couldn't... And they were
Tropic Thunder.
I know they're the one with...
Part where Tom Cruise dances.
He's like, Ben Stiller? The part where Ben Stiller dies? Or what? And I was like, oh!
Ben Stiller.
That's Tropic Thunder.
Ben Stiller's in Thunder Road?
Mm-hmm.
Make it happen, Jim. Anyway.
I hope Jim Cummings watches this video, but he won't.
Probably.
You never know.
He's
Jim
a cool
Cummings
guy.
was so good in this. He was a phenomenal actor.
Okay,
in
first
this.
of all, because this movie isn't I mean, it's definitely got some fantastic indie film street cred among film enthusiasts, but I think it's not necessarily a household name yet. So, Thunder Road is a independent film from 2018.
Yes, independent movie.
It's an independent film.
Have you seen that obscure movie?
It's
Jaws from Steven Spielberg.
Have you seen the independent film Star Wars?
I thought we were getting fancy.
I feel like we're in a video chat and you guys just keep doing those stupid fucking filters when we're trying to have a real conversation.
we were getting fancy.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Keep that on for the rest of the...
Alright.
Alright, cool.
People who are only watching the audio or listening to the audio are going to be confused.
Fuck, we gotta put these on Spotify and stuff. You gotta
Yeah.
help me.
I will.
Okay.
But before that...
Thunder Road.
Thunder Road! Okay, so
Starring
Thunder Road is a movie...
Kim Jummings.
Kim Jummings.
Oh, come on now.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh my lord, Kim Jummings. I'm gonna be thinking about Kim Jummings the whole time. That's so stupid.
End of the podcast. Right there.
Okay, so Thunder Road is a movie that came out in 2018.
Starring who?
Starring
Jim Cummings.
Starring, directed by, written by,
Oh,
performed.
we already did.
Written.
Sorry.
Oh god, this is going fantastic.
Jimmy Boy.
Kim Jummings.
Ryle, can you get on with it, Coy?
Ryle Coy.
Okay. You want me to do it?
Just go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So, it's a movie called Thunder Road, starring Jim Cummings. It's based on a short film, also called Thunder Road, which is essentially just the first scene of the movie is the short film.
The short film also played at Sundance and won, I think, like the grand
Right, which
prize
is
or whatever.
awesome. And yeah, the beginning of this movie is just one long take that's pretty much the short film that was recreated. Was the short film all one take? I'm assuming so.
Yes,
That's
a lot
fucking
of,
awesome.
and he's also, since I've seen this movie, I've discovered his short films that are on
Yes.
his Vimeo.
I meant
and
to
YouTube.
watch the short film before we did this, but I haven't.
I
yet.
still haven't either.
Is that on YouTube?
It's on Vimeo.
Oh, okay.
Gotta get on Vimeo.
Yeah, but I've seen like a bunch of his shorts, and they're great.
A lot of them tend to be like just one shot,
Mm-hmm.
the whole short film. I guess, how would you describe? I guess
Thunder Road is like a comedy that you feel bad for laughing with.
It's a
in
tragic
way.
comedy.
it's a tragic comedy.
Tragic comedy.
I remember when I first watched it. Well, first of all, I want to just preface by saying, you and Caleb saw this movie
Caleb
before me.
first, then showed me, and then yeah.
And I was like, what is this? What is this Thunder Road you guys are watching? Who's Jim Cummings? I don't know.
Mhm.
And then
And I knew it would be your thing, like
yeah,
yeah,
and I was like, okay. And
right.
then like I started watching, I was like, okay, this is like my thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, cause I'm a big fan of just like genre mixing in general. And I remember my initial thoughts, like I think you can find it on my Letterbox. Follow me on Letterbox.
Follow all of us on Letterboxd.
Follow all of us on Letterbox.
Link in the description below.
Follow Jim Cummings on Letterboxd.
well,
He's on
Link in the
Letterboxd.
description below.
Lots of links in the descriptions.
So many links.
So I think the first thing I said
So
was,
many
I can't
Zeldas.
tell if this is the funniest drama I've ever seen,
Yeah,
or the saddest comedy I've ever seen.
and in that way you can see why Caleb loves it too.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know, I was kind of surprised. I loved it as much as I did. It's a very like consumable indie, like one of the more, what's the word, easily digestible, accessible indie movies out there. Like Sydney just sat down and watched it completely,
Right.
and I was expecting her to leave the room.
Yeah.
Not like she doesn't like indie movies, but like, you know, a lot of times you put it on and they're just kind of like, you know, a little bit more artsy for the average person, and
Yeah.
they're just
It's
I-
conventional enough that the majority of people can watch it, but
Yes.
it's also like artsy enough.
It's
that
not.
You can,
It's definitely not conventional and normie or anything
Right.
like that. I hate
but
that
it's
word.
not like a Lars von Trier movie.
Yeah.
It's
Or like a
very
Gaspar Noé
it's
movie.
so fucking human. That's the thing.
Right.
It doesn't take itself seriously because, like, you can tell Jim Cummings, he thinks he can see the humor in human sadness and tragedy.
Right.
There's a quote that I feel like I read on Letterboxd, quoting somebody else, I think, where they're just like, drama or comedy is drama in a wide angle or I've something to that.
Oh
extent.
no! I think
What's that from?
you're quoting me.
I'm quoting you.
I heard that from funny enough, I heard that from Every Frame of Painting's video on the Coen brothers, and
Okay.
he was quoting it from somebody else.
And I
so-
think that's like.
But it's basically the general rule that like dramas in a close up, comedies in a long shot.
okay, and I can totally.
Right.
I mean, I think that applies to this perfectly.
I mean, I feel like I've seen movies that balance comedy and drama. Like dramedy is obviously a very common thing, but never quite like in the way that this does.
No fucking way.
This is like
Yeah.
such a specific way
Yeah.
that like you almost can't explain it.
It's not like.
When I tell people what the movie's about, which I guess we haven't really said that yet,
We'll get to it.
but when I tell people
Yeah.
what the movie's about, they're like, "Wait, it's a comedy?" And I was like, "Yeah, but like it's
very sad.
I mean, it's sad and it definitely has its dramatic moments,
Yeah.
but like you will be surprised how funny certain things can be."
But it's not like
You will laugh and then you will cry.
But I don't even agree with you there, you laugh and you cry
It's like
simultaneously.
Constantly like
It's
you,
not
you
like
don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's not like a normal dramedy where it's like
right.
comedy. Oh, there's some drama there, some comedy. Oh, now it's really
It's like they're
dramatic.
intermixing
It's just
where
like
it's
the
like
whole fucking
the
thing.
movie
It's
starts.
interchangeable.
The movie starts. This isn't a spoiler because it's in the trailer. It's basically the general premise of the movie. I mean, the movie starts. The main character, who played by Jim Cummings, is a Southern cop from, I think, Austin, Texas, I think is where it's supposed to set. They never really say. But he's a Southern cop, and he's giving a eulogy at his mom's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
That is the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Rock
And-
bottom almost.
Right. And that's also the short film. That's
Mhm.
entirely the premise of the short film. And you can already tell that, like, what kind of... I mean, it takes you a second to, like, figure out, like, you see it's a comedy, and you're like, alright, how is this gonna, like, be funny? But, like, I feel like the comedy entirely relies on... I guess, would you say this is fair to say? Like, it almost entirely relies on comes from the character that Jim is playing.
I would say Jim Cummings' delivery, how he if it was
it's entirely it entirely comes from characterization.
Mhm.
Because like
his
I don't,
performance
it's almost,
is what makes it
yeah,
funny.
you like I don't know if you could read the Thunder Road script and be like, oh, this is gonna be funny.
Mhm.
That's actually a point that because he said in interviews that like he was never really, according to him, he's never really a good screenwriter and like screenwriting format and like. You know, articulating what something's going to feel like on the page is never something he's been skilled at.
Definitely seems like it would put him in a box if he like,
Right.
Yeah,
But, you know, because he's the one directing and everything,
totally.
like he's able to...
He knows exactly what he's trying to do.
Right. And it's funny enough, you can actually buy the screenplay on Amazon, which I have, and I've read some of it, and it's totally like... It's not a bad screenplay necessarily, but like it's... There's so much that's not on the page that you just like would not get.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just like super subtle, and it's just like there's no way you can explain it to somebody without
Yeah, it definitely
performing it for someone.
Exactly.
And I think that's actually how he wrote the script. Is he acted it out first, or that was a part of his
That's a
writing
great
process,
idea.
and
That's
he gave it
awesome.
to the rest of his crew.
He did he recorded it.
So the rest of his crew and cast knew like the idea of how he wanted it performed because
Yeah.
it's such a specific. Like he played all the parts.
Wow.
It was very interesting.
That's so crazy. I just couldn't imagine getting that script and just knowing what to do.
Right.
Like right off the bat, just the way he performs it is just
He has a quote in interviews that's something
even
like,
know.
if it's that easy to misinterpret a text message, don't let people misinterpret your script.
yeah, that's a good freaking point. I wasn't So I think this is a good movie.
Shit.
It's not my thing. And I think I gave this some thought. I was like, why is it not my thing? Now this is gonna sound really lame, but when I watch a movie, I think you guys I don't know. I do it more for like escapism. Where like I watch a movie to like get away from the world and be like, oh, cool, sci-fi, fantasy, time travel, like all this like extra big stuff, and like even like goofy comedies like Napoleon Dynamite is very much like out there. But then you watch this, and this is like it feels real.
Yeah.
And like I said, if my hypothesis is correct that I watch movies for escapism, then the reason why this isn't my thing is just because it's so real, but it's so funny, and it honestly makes you feel really sad and keeps you rooted in the real world. So that's why it's not my thing. It's not a bad movie by any means. It's just not like my kind of movie.
Do you feel like as opposed to how you watch movies, like maybe me and Gage watch movies to kind of like, whether consciously or not, to kind of like see life be reflected in a certain way?
See yourselves reflect. Yeah, absolutely. Because I just see the movies that like Gage watches, and it's a lot of like Clerks and stuff. It's a lot of dialogue-based things that could happen in the real world.
Right.
And it's like we just look for very different things in the movies that we watch.
I mean, I definitely feel like I'm a high concept guy, especially with the movies that I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I'm kind of like the perfect mixture of like, I'm a big fan of like the high concept that's maybe kind of out there, but like, and maybe that's like the icing and the frosting and the cake, but then like the actual like message behind the movie or what the movie's trying to say is small and relatable, and maybe that's like the carrot that's hidden in the cake.
I was just telling Gage the other day that like if we were to make a movie.
Candy so the medicine goes down is a better analogy.
I like that.
If we were to make a movie that would best like get the most people to recognize it, get the most success, get the most success critically, commercially, whatever you want to call it, it would be if like I came up with the concept and the plot points and then gauged at all the character stuff and the dialogue stuff and like worked on the more dramatic points of it. You know, because my concepts are obviously very, very big and out there.
It's not a bad thing.
And you guys joke a lot of the time.
I'm a big fan of high concept. I don't know if you can
Mm-hmm.
tell. Especially with the stuff I want to make.
If I'm ever about to pitch a movie idea to these guys, they're like, does it have time travel? Are there codes? Are there... And I'm just like, come on, guys. And more often than not, there's one of the two.
Just don't want you to repeat yourself, that's all.
Yeah. Just time travel's so cool.
Anyway,
Ba, ba,
back to
ba.
Thunder Road.
Sorry. I totally derailed that.
You're okay.
Me!
No, it's an interesting conversation because, you know, we don't just talk about movies because we like movies. We actually, all three of us are in some stage in trying to make our own.
And this is a fucking, like, one of those ones that
right.
very inspirational. For
Especially
me.
when it's an indie movie. I mean, this movie had like a decent budget, but still, like, it was only like $190,000, and part of that was financed from, Kickstarter, I think.
It's just insane how much movies cost. I love how we say only $190,000.
Well, you know what's insane is in the industry, technically speaking, anything under I think $50,000 is considered no budget.
Wow.
Which to us is like
That would
I would kill to have.
Yeah. Our budget is like $1,000.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah, I haven't spent more than $1,000 on any of my movies yet, so.
Really?
I mean, and even then, like, most of that is stuff you already have.
Exactly.
Yeah, on IMDb, I think I put that like our budget for The Apology. Go watch The Apology. It was a short film I did.
Mm-hmm. Go watch Living with Trevor, Vine Avenue, Waffles, 7th, and upcoming Not So Amazing. All right, continue, Kyle.
Yes. The budget that I put for The Apology, I think I usually put like around $6,000, but I mean, you know, obviously I didn't have like a budget. Mm-hmm. We weren't sitting there like figuring out the expenses. I mean, it's like an estimation of how much our equipment costs.
Yeah. Not necessarily like what you spent right then and there. It's like
right.
all the how much everything you have.
Dude, the budget for 7th was probably like $300. Like that's how small that movie is.
Yeah.
Like a $300 or less movie.
I mean, a lot of times when movies like say this, like this movie was made for $7,000, they didn't necessarily always raise like that. It's like a rough estimation and like
yeah.
But they use that for marketing purposes.
How much did you say that was made for?
Like
$190,000.
Okay. It's still not. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it does not.
It doesn't come across as like an indie movie.
No,
it looks like it could play in theaters.
It looks like a well-produced movie. What is crazy to me also is Jim Cummings. He was a producer before this.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
He
for
produced,
like several years.
Like a movie on Netflix, I think, called 13 Cameras.
Oh, he produced that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I've definitely heard of it. But like, according to him, he never took an acting class. He wasn't an actor. He just kind of said...
Which blows me away because he's so good.
He practically carries the movie.
Yeah. I mean, one of the best performances of that entire year for me. 2018.
Yeah, and
easily.
And
maybe the best, like my favorite.
Like, it's incredible. Like,
It's
the
so
entire
nuanced.
movie falls on how he delivers
I don't know if
everything.
anybody else could have done that.
No. He clearly wrote the movie in a way so that, like, he knew what he could pull off and what he couldn't.
He said originally, before they decided to just go fully independent, you know, he was pitching the movie to, like, studios. And I think at one point they wanted to, like, hire somebody like, I don't know, what did they say? I think it was like Ethan Hawke or something like that. I don't remember. I could be wrong.
I mean, I love Ethan Hawke, but I don't know if he could pull that off.
Right. But with this, like movies from like unknown directors, they're usually studios are like, oh well, we gotta attach a big name to it, because that's how we sell it, or no one's gonna watch it. And nobody in this movie. I mean, I recognize a couple from like very
Blair's
small.
in it.
Who's that?
He's the teacher. He's in quite a bit of stuff.
But this is how Jim not
I feel like the police chief. I recognize him too. And me and you both thought, when we watched it for the first time, that his friend in the movie was Jaleel White. He looks just like him.
He looks a lot like Jaleel White,
but he's not.
Really funny. That guy's a good actor too.
Yeah, no one's like a super like household name, and yet everyone's like really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, okay, not to be like the parallel guy, because I'm always making parallels, but like, look at Sylvester Stallone with Rocky. Everybody was like, oh no, we're not gonna we need a big actor on for that, and then he was like, no, I'm gonna be the main guy, and now look where Sylvester Stallone is. Everybody knows his name, and I feel like Jim Cummings, because he chose to be like, no, I want to be in this, he could be that next big like independent actor gone big type thing.
I don't know if we've established like this is basically his debut. I mean,
directing or acting?
Directing.
Okay.
According
feature
film. According to him,
well, he did that Minutes movie, but I think it's
just a
compilation of all of his shorts.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, and according to him, he also did a feature film like almost a decade ago, but I don't think it was released anywhere, or at least it's not on like VOD or anything.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess it didn't come out well. I don't know. But yeah, I can't think of the last time like an indie movie came out where it's like. Also, it's self-distributed, which is amazing. So I bought this Blu-ray off Amazon. There's a very good chance.
I need to get it so bad.
There's a very good chance that the director just like literally like ordered like Blu-ray. Cases.
How much was it? 20?
Might have been like 18, 20, something like that. Maybe.
That's totally...
That's reasonable.
Could be totally wrong on that, but...
I just think more indie movies need to come out in theaters. Because, like, you think about it, you had, like, Paranormal Activity, which is, like, the highest grossing... or one of the highest grossing indie movies of all time. And you also have, like, The Blair Witch Project. And you just, like, had all these smaller movies coming out. But now we have, like, this big blockbuster Hollywood system.
Yeah, I totally agree. But, I mean, like... I'm so happy that we live in like the day and age where anybody can make a movie and get it seen if it's good enough. Honestly,
on like Amazon, Netflix, like anywhere.
Seriously though, like when was the last time you saw a movie where there was like it was made for nearly nothing and like almost everybody involved wasn't a household name and it was a success story. Like he made his money back.
Yeah.
Like
it's
like
very
that's a
profitable.
rarity. We haven't seen that shit since like the 90s. The indie boom of the 90s.
Yeah.
Now if it's an indie movie, there's usually like someone attached or like, Jonah Hill's directing it or something. Or, or it's released by A24 so people watch it.
Exactly. You look at a lot of these A24 movies and they still have like a lot of big names.
Big name. I don't know if I can even call... I don't really know if A24 is like...
Anymore.
It's technically indie, but come on. When you have Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson in your movie, like...
I think Blumhouse is still like pretty... I mean, it's the whole like... low budget, low risk, high, or fucking, you'd have a small budget and you get a high return off of it, essentially.
Yeah, because you don't,
So.
Exactly.
I think A24 does that to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
A24 gives small people chances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing I like about A24 is, like, they're not necessarily making no-budget movies, but...
Well, they're also, like, primarily... They do produce some movies, but for the most part, they're a distributor. So typically the filmmakers come to them with the movie already made and then they sell it to them.
Okay.
So they're still technically independent.
Yeah.
As opposed to a studio like, producing a movie from scratch and being like, this is your budget, you have to have this,
right.
Yeah. I mean, Thunder Road is one of those ones where I'm definitely going to be going back to it multiple times to just kind of feel inspired and shit.
This is the third time I've watched it. Last time we watched it. I mean, it's just... Didn't expect it to totally be my thing, and you were absolutely right.
Yeah.
Might be one of my favorite indie movies of all time.
I was a little sad that it wasn't my thing. Do you ever, like, watch a movie where, like, oh, I hope I really like this, and, like, you want to like it? And...
Free Fire?
Free Fire? Yeah.
It's a movie I really want.
I don't even know what that is.
It's an A24 movie where the premise is, like, a bunch of criminals in a warehouse in there. One of them's trying to like sell them guns, and then they all get in a fight. The whole
yep,
movie's
I
just
remember
them like shooting. The primary problem with the movie is like once that inciting incident starts happening, the way that it's shot and edited is so.
Firework?
I hope.
That was a firework.
That definitely picked up. It's so, but like what I was saying about Free Fire is like, the way that it's edited is like, it's like confusing, and like, because like you can't, so you have a bunch of people, and you're sitting in there like all, behind like crates and pillars and shit, and like they're shooting at people.
Yeah.
But because of how it's shot and edited, like you can't see who's shooting at who. So the majority of the movie is just people shooting off screen, and you can't tell and it entirely takes you out of it.
Yeah.
Other than that,
That's
the characters are
frustrating.
fun. It's a fun premise. The comedy's good. The acting's good. The vibe is good. Like, it's just fun to watch otherwise. But like entirely, like because of that, it entirely sucks you out.
Like, if a movie's all taking place in one location, one of the most important things would be, like,
Right.
for the audience to be able to feel like they're in that location.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just feel like you're watching a bunch of people shoot off screen, which is
Yeah.
really unfortunate because I think it could have been a really, really well received movie otherwise.
Yeah. Thunder Road.
Thunder Road.
Thunder Road.
Have we even said what Thunder Road's about yet? I don't think we have.
Kinda. He loses his mom, and it's about, like, kind of trying to get custody for his daughter.
And also kind of winning his daughter's respect again while also going through a divorce. Yeah.
It's honestly really hard to, like, explain what
He's a police officer going through a really hard time and dealing with it in his own way.
And
it's funny.
I like movies like Thunder Road where explaining what it's about absolutely does not do it justice.
Mm-hmm.
It's less about like what it's about and how it
makes you feel.
Yeah. How it's executed.
Right.
Like Clerks. I don't know.
Well, kind of the way that the
For
director
me.
like explains it is that it's like basically a movie about like the police this guy like trying to win his daughter's affection after his mom just passed away, and he's like having regrets, and he's kind of seeing the cycle of parenting, and he doesn't want to make like the same like certain mistakes, and that like, and he feels like he wasn't super close with his mom or didn't treat her with the way that he thought he should or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he feels like he's seeing that with his relationship with his daughter, so he's trying to prevent that. Like there's that scene, there's that a girl that he catches, and I think that he's supposed to be there as like oh crap, I don't want my daughter to turn out like that or whatever kind of thing. And I don't know, it's just like there's a lot of themes, but they all come together really well, I think.
It's hard. It's one of those. Yeah, like you said, it's more about how you feel. It's kind of a hard movie to talk about, like what specifically I liked about it. Obviously, the performances and shit like that, but it's just how it makes me feel. I just love the way it makes me feel, and I love how inspiring it is. And
well, a lot of like we said, a lot of the comedy comes from the character who's kind of a bumbling cop, and like. There's that scene at the beginning where he's giving the eulogy, and he's like trying to like pour his heart out, but also at the same time you can tell because a lot of his cop buddies are there. He's like trying to act tough in front of them, and that's where a lot of the comedy comes from, and how he's like overcompensating and how he can't control his anger, and and it's like you can't help but laugh.
I love I don't know if this is just Jim Cummings, but I love his little character thing where he just calls everything beautiful. He's just like, that's beautiful. I love that. That's beautiful. Oh, you're beautiful.
I never noticed that.
He says really? That's one character thing I like really liked about him. Like somebody would tell a story and be like, that's just beautiful. And I loved it.
I mean, the word that I took away from the movie was slicker, because he says that a couple
slicker.
times. Is he a slicker? Do you think he's real slick?
Someone does a prayer, and he's just like, that's beautiful.
My favorite fucking part of the movie is when he breaks the window.
Oh, yeah?
It's so cool.
Remember what I told you, right? About I guess he like cut his arm open when he was doing that scene, and he glued it shut with like hot glue or something like that.
Crazy. I love how like when he gets really pissed off in the movie too, it's like, oh shit.
Because he seems like a very calm and collected guy, so when he gets mad, it's just like, oh crap.
I don't know if I call him calm and collected, but like...
I mean, he puts on this facade that he is calm and collected around people until he finally snaps.
Right. I think that, again, that's where a lot of the comedy comes
Yeah.
from. And it's like, obviously, everyone around him isn't buying it. They're just kind of ignoring him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is just how he acts, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think, hands down, I think the best scene in the movie is the breakdown that he has in front of the police station where he strips all of his clothes down.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the way that balances comedy and tragedy is, like...
Yeah, that's a fantastic monologue right there.
Yeah.
And I feel like when the humor comes up, it doesn't, like, ruin it either.
No, it's humor. It's not humor being forced. It's being not injected, but it's being, like...
Yeah.
It doesn't...
taken from something that was already there.
Right.
If that makes any sense. Because, like, you have movies like... People didn't like The Last Jedi because the humor felt forced, because it just feels like they slapped a joke here, but, like...
Wait, you said The Rise of Skywalker?
Did I say that? The Last Jedi.
Oh. I was thinking Rise of Skywalker.
I think, like, just Disney movies.
They fly now?
Okay.
They fly now!
I get that. Like, it's just, like, a joke for the sake of a joke, rather than the humor coming from the situation.
It doesn't feel like Jar Jar Binks, where it's comic relief. It feels like it's part of the character. It's not like there's some character on the side waiting to be like, serious moment, here's a joke.
Right.
You know, it was like part of his character, and it like really worked with it.
Yeah, it's like clearly like very easy to like try to make things serious and funny and like fail and fall on its face. So it's just like a testament to like great acting, directing, writing.
I also think it's really interesting. In the heat of the moment, you can be so angry and pissed and all these emotions overflow. But if you look at that from an outsider's view, you see like how truly kind of sad and pathetic it is and kind of funny. But in the moment, we don't realize that. So just taking an outside perspective and seeing someone having that and being like, oh shit, this is like, when you're not in that mindset and you just see it from the outside, it's just so jarring and just kind of funny, because it's just, I don't know. You're not clouded by emotion.
So...
I have to poop. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up in a second here. But...
Other people's pain is funny. Sometimes.
Yeah.
It can be.
Our own pain is funny sometimes.
That's why I run dead on into a train while on my horse in Red Dead Redemption, because pain is funny.
Welcome to Jackass.
So watch Thunder Road.
Welcome to Jackass.
Jim Cummings has other movies coming out. He's like 2 that he's like editing or already finished on and that are coming out, and then he has a Hulu series that he's developing or something like that.
Okay.
He has a bunch of shit that's coming out.
Yeah, sorry I don't have like more to say. It's just, it's one of those things that I just love and I don't really...
I mean, you
You
have to watch it. You can't, that's not something that you can describe how you feel. You just have to watch it.
Right.
Yeah, it's very unique. Very unique.
Right.
And it definitely, I definitely...
breath of fresh air in a...
Yeah, it definitely feels special.
Yeah.
In its own way.
And I think more people need to see it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it has a pretty decent following now, but it doesn't have, like...
How many people did
Midsummer
you say?
Hereditary following, you know
I'm
what I
kind
mean?
of curious as to how many people on Letterboxd have seen it.
Is it on Prime?
If you don't have a Letterboxd...
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime, by the way.
Okay.
If you don't have a Letterboxd and you really like movies, I would highly suggest getting a Letterboxd. Like, for real. What's it called? Thunder Road.
Oh my god.
What's it called?
Shut up.
It's not like we've been talking about it for the past
Thunder.
Tropic
40
Thunder.
minutes.
I mean, let's see. Where is it? 24,000 members on Letterboxd have seen it. So that's a pretty good...
It's not bad, but like I still think more people should see it.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't sleep on Jim Cummings.
Yeah.
That sounded horrible. Like, I mean, like, pay attention to Jim Cummings.
Don't sleep on Jim Cummings.
You heard it here first. Because, Jesus.
He deserves it.
Alright.
I threw the kitty on a little cushion. It's fine.
Yeah, watch, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm hot. I'm sweaty.
Yeah, it's so hot.
We
My
need to end
ass
this
is so sweaty.
so we can turn the fan back on. This has been the dialogue.
This is why we might, like... Wait, hold on. This is why we might... Stop. We're not done yet. This is why we might, like, film it in a different place maybe for a little bit because it's like so hot in here.
Yeah.
Do I look sweaty? I feel like sweaty.
My butt, my butthole is just leaking sweat.
It's just leaking fluids.
I feel like I'm fine, but I definitely think that if it was cooler, I would be enjoying it a little bit
Yeah.
more.
I feel like I'm visibly like liquefied.
you're
I'm
right.
happy with this discussion and how it went, but I
Yeah.
have to poop now, so I'm
All
sorry.
right.
Yeah. Well, hold on. We got to do the shout outs and stuff.
Shout outs.
Like, like Letterbox and
Oh yeah.
watch
Follow-
Thunder Road, watch Funny Games, and ask questions for the next episode, and they will be asked, or they will be answered.
They will be answered.
And yes, follow us on Letterbox.
It doesn't matter what it is. You can ask like how big our feet are, and we'll answer. No matter what it is, we'll answer regardless of what the
That's a
question
joke
is.
in Thunder Road.
Oh yeah.
He's talking to his daughter.
What's he say?
Thanks for catching that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't have like a big
Job.
or anything.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Subscribe to RC Films, subscribe to your channel, subscribe to my channel. All the links are in the description. Watch our movies.
Get a freaking letterbox
We all have
if you don't already.
various short films and feature films that we've been a
Mhm.
part of.
Yep, all on
Okay.
YouTube, free to watch.
Go watch Living with Trevor, Vine Avenue, Waffles.
The links will
7th,
be in there.
The Apology.
You're savvy if you're watching this, probably.
Yeah.
You'll find them.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. This has been exciting.
Or listening.
Listening.
Yeah.
We're obviously still figuring out how to do all this.
Yeah,
So bear with us.
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I feel like doing it at your house next time will be
Absolutely.
a little bit easier.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Yeah, this was fun. Thank you guys for doing this. I'm excited for the next one.
Yep.
Me too.
Much love.
I love you.
Good.
Good.
Stay safe, Gotham.
People just want to watch the burned world. Bye.
Steve Jobs is better.
Fuck you. Social network is better.
Okay,
asshole.
bye.